Same theme but different topic. Well, I'm looking at two studies that are analyzing the data collected by the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, uh, and they found widespread discrimination, again, against same-sex couples in the mortgage industry. One of the studies specifically examined loans insured by the Federal Housing Administration, HUD, and found that gay male couples, especially those including a person of color, were significantly less likely to have their loans approved than white heterosexual couples with similar profiles. What is your department doing to address discrimination against LGBTQ people, especially people of color, in the mortgage industry?
We get about 8,000 complaints a year, discrimination against one of the protected classes. We have not received a lot of in that particular category. Obviously, I would detest such a thing. And if you know of specific cases, please let us know. Our FHEO office is very active in pursuing such things.
Well, have you let it know within the agency that you won't tolerate this, and specifically
Absolutely.
relating to these issues?
I've made it very clear.
We will pass these two studies on to you. In a related matter, your department has proposed rules that change the information that faith-based housing providers are required to provide the clients they serve. Imagine, I guess, individuals or families dealing with mental illness, substance abuse disorder, HIV/AIDS, or homelessness, seeking assistance. And what happens is the change that's being proposed by HUD, these people could be forced to receive these services from a faith-based provider, even though the beneficiaries know that this provider condemns them for who they are. The current regulation that you're seeking to change requires that the agencies inform them of their right to request an alternative provider. Your proposed rules give them no notice of this ability and no help with finding an alternative. These people possibly be getting absolutely no services. How does providing the beneficiaries with just a notice of their alternatives and their rights become a burden?
As long as it's applied equally to every provider, it's not a problem.
But what you're saying is you're not letting the beneficiaries know that they have an alternative to go to a provider that doesn't discriminate against them.
If no one else is required to do that, a faith-based organization should not be
Well,
provided.
all providers
Everybody
need
should
to.
be required to do the same thing, is what I'm saying.
Well, then my strong suggestion is that you change what you're modifying here and tell them that the rules apply to all providers. But if they're not faith-based, the possibility that their objectives in their bylaws discriminate, you don't have the same problem. So what you're saying is fine, but you're not telling the faith-based providers, that they have to provide alternatives and let people know of their rights to alternatives under what you're proposing now.
I would say if everybody has to say what all the alternatives are, I don't have a problem with it. If you're only selecting out faith-based organizations and saying they have to do it, that's discrimination.
Well, no, but we're talking about faith-based organizations that condemn the LGBTQ community in particular for who they are. And you're telling, under the current rules that we're living under, that they have alternatives, and here is what they are. That's not what you're talking about here.
If they're faith-based organizations and their faith is based on the Bible, then they certainly should not be condemning anyone.
But they do.
And I'm saying that we're not getting
You're
those.
telling them it's okay.
We're
That's
not-
what we've been talking about for 4 years
We're
here.
not getting those complaints. Where are they going? Who are they complaining to?
There's a reason that all these rules got put in place. There's a body. If with all due respect, Mr. If you don't understand that the trans community and the LGBT community as a whole haven't been discriminated against, a person who believes that has been living under a rock.
I'm not saying they're not discriminated against. I'm saying we're not getting the complaints. Where are they going? Can you help me understand that?
Well, we're past our time, but we obviously need much longer time to talk about the fact that these rules could allow this discrimination to take place, and people, as a result, won't be provided these services. But my time is up again.
Thank you. Ms. Secretary, let me